We will do whatever it takes.
Today, news this business owner has been waiting for.
Well, better late than never.
His hope that with the vaccine passport, pubs like his will be able to keep on serving even as cases rise.
It definitely puts a lot of the anxiety to bed.
Premier Doug Ford's announcement was an about-face, from adamant refusal back in July.
The answer is no, we aren't going to do it.
To this.
After in-depth discussions with our medical experts, we've landed on a vaccine certificate policy that is based on evidence and best advice.
That policy comes into effect on September 22nd. Proof of full vaccination will be mandatory at some non-essential businesses, including restaurants, bars, gyms, sports venues, concert halls, and theaters. To start, venues will have to check people's vaccine receipts and photo IDs. The province's digital system will be ready in late October. It will use a QR code and a verification app.
It's disappointing that we're now behind the eight ball on this.
With more than 76% of eligible Ontarians vaccinated, the Premier bowed to mounting pressure, in part to encourage the hesitant.
We either do this or we risk shutting down the economy, which would even be worse, having our hospital capacity maxed out and at the brink, having our kids stay at home.
While a vocal minority remains opposed, experts say vaccine passports are the right call.
It really does, in a significant way reduce the risk of outbreak. And, and if you reduce the amount of people getting COVID and being exposed to it, then, you have less people in the hospital and potentially less people dying.
This pub owner is just relieved to know there's a chance he won't have to close his doors again this winter.
It's good that it's coming. It's bad it took this long. And the rollout is sloppy.
So, Jayla, the Premier hinted at the fourth wave being part of the reason for the vaccine passport, but what are the latest modeling numbers actually telling us?
Well, what really stood out to me was the number 85%. That's the number experts say of eligible people in Ontario who need to get vaccinated if we're going to avoid more lockdowns, especially as that Delta variant circulates in Ontario. And the other thing that they really focused on in these latest projections is the fact that with some workplaces reopening, with some kids headed back to school, that there's actually a possibility we could see the occupancy rates of intensive care units in hospitals surpass what we saw in the third wave. So they're really warning that we need to get those transmission rates down and we need to get more jabs in arms.
All right, Jayla Bernstein in Toronto. Thank you, Jayla.
My pleasure.